Want to take attendance, Mrs. Greer, to see if we have a quorum.
Dick Parada,
Present.
Jack Avery,
Present.
Eddie Zero,
Present.
Peter Landis,
Present.
Lou Ferraro.
Present.
Rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the moment of silence, I'd like us all to remember the 41st President of the United States, George Bush, and in honor of him, I have something that Mother Teresa has said. And she says, I think we should all remember this in this hectic year of politics. To hate people will not change anything. To love them will. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, we have 4 petitioners tonight. The first one is Emo. Is Emo? No need to speak in the mic. It's not.
I'll use my indoor voice. So, Woman March, the actual permit application to hold the march is in Jim's Venus hands this evening, so that'll be voted on later on. I wanted to tell you all about it. As you all know, our first Woman March brought 10,000 people to Seneca Falls. Our second march brought 15,000, and we're pushing for 20,000 to come. January 19, 2019. Remember, the 19th Amendment. So in preparation, we have had monthly and weekly meetings now. We've also met with Chief Feenstra and members of the police department, the Seneca County Sheriff's Department, New York State Police, Homeland Security, and the military representatives from Gettysburg that represent the Women's Rights National Historical Park. They also will be on site that day. So we are working very diligently to get all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. On Friday, the 18th, the mobile technology Jumbotron vehicle will be arriving from Pennsylvania. You've seen them at great big football games and concerts. So he's going to pull up in front of the Partridge Building at 115 Fall Street. That will be cordoned off on Friday, awaiting his arrival, so that when we actually congregate on that Saturday morning, people in the area will be able to see what's going on the walkway at Women's Rights Park. So that'll be Friday the 18th. Speeches begin at 10 a.m. Some of our speakers, well, one, for instance, is Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul is coming back again. The others are all committing. I think lovely Lauren just said that she would not be able to make it, but we're expecting folks from Washington, D.C. as well. So that starts at 10 a.m. and then Chief Feenstra at 11:30 will tell me to step off on the march, and we will march. Starting from the Women's Rights Park, going towards the hotel, the Gould Hotel on 5 and 20, we will turn left on State Street. We will march to the South Park Street, where we turn right, go down South Park, and then we will turn right on Cayuga Street. We will march down Cayuga Street to Lower Fall, and Lower Fall down by the Mews. When you head that way, because I'm sure you'll all be marching, you will find food trucks will be lined up. We hope to have 4 to 6 food trucks there. Also, there will be a 40 by 60 tent in front of 10 Fall Street that will be information. There will be NGOs there and possibly some vendors sending, you know, merchandise. So then the concert begins when we arrive there. We have a very short concert that will begin at 1 o'clock. Just for 1 hour, perhaps maybe 1.5 hours. We have several very famous groups that are coming here from New York City and other places. They will be on a flatbed truck that will be at the stage behind the Muse building. And so everyone will be congregating around that area. So music, food, everything should end between 2 and 2 p.m. And that's my story. Any questions? Yes, Supervisor Rosado.
Porta-johns.
Porta-johns, we will have 12 porta-johns, probably 6 over by Women's Rights and 6 down by the Muse. We will also have, I think shuttle buses. We will have, I think, 6 shuttle buses from Minders Academy, 4 regular and 2 handicapped, and I'm also seeking 2 handicapped shuttle buses from Waterloo Central, so that we will be able to shuttle these folks around. They will be parking at the Tops Plaza parking lot and at the Liberty Tree parking lot. We get permission every year from their owners to do that. There will be teams of students there from Hobart William Smith directing students, or directing people as to where they should park. And we do know that buses are coming from across the country bringing people here, so we will have a designated area for buses to be parking as well. We will be notifying people in the area where we're going to be marching. We will leave them a note at their homes letting them know that we'll be marching through. The traffic will be suspended for a short while that morning.
Do you have any other parking areas?
We've also used Minders Academy parking area.
Okay.
And we put this out on our Facebook page. And I don't know if you've seen our Facebook page. I don't know if you've seen any of our materials. But in order to come here, we tell these people, you must be dignified. You must not leave a mess. You must not be rude. You must be civil. And you must be joining our tenets, which are, you know, equality for all. Women's rights, black rights, white rights, everyone's rights, human rights. So that's what our story is, Women March. This will be our 3rd march. Our 4th will be January 2020. That'll probably be the final march. Or not.
Thank you.
Questions? No? Okay, thank you very much, and I hope you will all be there.
Mr. Robert McGill. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, I'm Robert L. McGill Jr. from Waterloo, New York. I'm kind of going to skip around a little bit, and it may not sound too good. It's going to be a little chopped. But I first want to start out with town law. I just handed Mr. Lazaro a copy of a letter from the state of New York, which specifically states that there is nothing in the Constitution that guarantees the public the right to participate in local government. In other words, nobody has a constitutional right to be here. The state's open meeting law is the statute that requires the meetings to be held in public. But it's up to the discretion of the board and the supervisor as to how the meeting is run, who's allowed to speak, and who's out of order. And I do believe, and somebody should check on this, if you check with the town law manual and the, what is it, of towns? Association of Towns. I would think that a video now constitutes an open meeting. So any of these people who get unruly, and you constantly have to remind them that they're interrupting and not to speak, or you have them removed, you can bar them from the meetings, tell them to go home and watch the video. On to economic development. I notice you're spending a lot of money on the Seneca Falls Economic Development Corporation. And I also realize that you're cutting funding for your visitor center. A lot of people are wondering how come other communities are doing better than Seneca Falls. Well, a funny thing happened on the way to the meeting tonight. The village of Waterloo spent all day fixing a water main in front of my house. They got all done and they all left, and guess what? They had to come back. Because 10 feet from where they fixed it, it broke again. And that happens over and over and over again in Waterloo. You just don't hear about it because the mayor runs the newspaper. Okay? So all you hear is the good stuff. You see that the state of New York just put $5 million into the failed event center that Geneva built on the lake. They built a $5 million event center, promoted it, hired their outfit out as if it could have run it, and it was a total disaster. So along comes the state of New York, turns it into a visitor center, and puts another $5 million in it, and there you have it. Your visitor center has somebody there that answers the phone, responds to emails, they are physically present, and they can do far more for you than this economic development corporation that stood right here and said, some of these ideas are 15 years old. I wonder why. Because they aren't going to work, and they never were going to work. It's just a bunch of baloney that they copied from the Chamber of Commerce. All that information was on the internet for years. And they put it all together and charge you for it.
3 minutes, Mr. Joe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Reverend Dr. Allison Stokes.
Damn, she was nice.
I'm Allison Stokes, a Seneca Falls taxpayer and voter. Tonight I will not read a statement. I will simply state facts learned through FOIL requests. For doing so, I cannot be sued. Fact: at its May 1st meeting, the board passed a resolution to take by eminent domain a 20-foot permanent easement to install a sewer line on Ludovico Sculpture Trail. Fact: on Thursday, the appellate court department in Rochester will hear the appeal of this decision. It will be made by Sheila Shalafo, the trail's attorney. Fact: the trail, a non-profit organization, has no money. Attorney Shalafo of Victor, who has 25 years experience in eminent domain, is essentially volunteering her time pro bono. Fact: last year our town board hired David Foster to represent us as full-time town attorney. During 2018, his annual salary, including benefits, is over $90,000. This works out to be about $7,500 a month. Fact: in January, the town board retained the Barclay Damon law firm of Buffalo to represent the town in defending the eminent domain action against the trail. Fact: the legal fee of the lead attorney on this ED case is $430 an hour. The legal fee of the associate working closely with him is $260 an hour. Fact: from January through August, the town paid Barclay Damon a total of over $50,000. This averages to a monthly expense of about $14,400. Fact: in September, the Barclay Damon billed more than doubled. The town paid a whopping $38,922 for 1 month. Fact: on December 27th, the Ludovico Sculpture Trail made a settlement offer. The bulk of the offer, $140,000, was money already budgeted by the Barton and LaJudas to bring the trail up to state trail standards after the sewer line was installed. Instead, the money would be put into the trail's hands for ongoing maintenance. If accepted, this agreement would have ended the legal action and permitted the sewer project to go forward immediately. Fact: the town board rejected the offer and made no counter offer. Ironically, Supervisor Lazzaro's familiar mantra has consistently been, negotiate, don't litigate. Final fact: adding what our town attorney has cost us so far this year to what Barclay Damon has been paid, the figure is almost $250,000, about $222,000. And the October, November, December legal expenses have yet to be paid. My opinion, our town needs to stop this wasteful spending. Board, please take corrective action. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Matt Blair from the town of Seneca Falls. To speak about the town of Seneca Falls.
I'm here tonight basically to stand up for a man who has distinguished himself by serving his country with honor. He has distinguished himself as a professional in the field of law. He is a person that I personally look to and refer to fondly as my rabbi. In addition to having graduated from Cornell University School of Law and maintained a professional law practice for over 4 decades, served as a judge, a person who is considered to be
fair and unbiased in all of his dealings by everybody that I've talked to outside of this building. And an individual that I believe has saved the town of Seneca Falls countless hundreds of thousands of dollars by getting rid of a legal backlog that existed the day he took work here. The other thing that I would like to say about him is that he is a man of unyielding honesty and integrity. I recently was very disturbed by the knowledge that a lot of people were blaming him for running off without authority and negotiating deals behind everybody's backs with Seneca Meadows, which couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth, as I discovered. His conversations with Seneca Meadows were done with the authority of the board backing him. Why this wasn't made known and who participated in the votes is something that I can't explain, but I'm not going to share any individual names as far as that's concerned here tonight, because I refer you to Philippians 2:3, which says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or empty pride, but in humility consider others more important than yourselves." That's David Lee Foster. And that's the reason you didn't hear him jump up and defend himself, because it would have been at the expense of others. This is the man that you're talking about getting rid of. This is the man that has been unfairly excoriated over the past months. And as I said, he wouldn't speak out because he is a man of integrity and he puts others before himself. I can't believe that we're letting someone like this go. As a result of that, I personally believe that I must take a stand. Also, with regard to Marshall Foster, a highly educated and skilled network administrator who doubles as the Director of Information Technology for our town, this is a very important function, and it's something that should be full-time and it should be on site. The previous fiasco with the contracted services resulted in unacceptable lag times in getting critical services and maintenance and excessive add-on fees for each individual task performed. I would like to know what happened. May I have a little more time, please?
Yeah, I'll give you
Thank
30
you.
seconds.
I would like to know what happened to all of the computer equipment and supplies that the contractor services, when the contractor services ended prior to the move to the town's present offices, and why our computer codes were needed to operate, that were needed to operate the doors in the town's office, were held hostage, for which a ransom was demanded. The need for a secure on-site IT operation should be apparent to anyone, and above all, it should be held above all of the turmoil of politics and personal vendettas.
Okay, Matt.
Okay, I'll wrap up now. So, as a result of this, I, and I believe others that I'm not going to name for the reasons I just said, will be tendering my resignation from the Zoning Board of Appeals. I will no longer be active with the Waste Management Advisory Committee, because this just isn't fair. And so that's all I have to say.
Thank you.